The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Longman Simplified English Series. Read by Utchara Boonlert. Chapter 7. Tom and Huck swear an oath. The two boys flew on towards the village. Speechless with horror, they glanced backwards over their shoulders from time to time, as if they feared that they might be followed. "If we can only get to the old mill before we break down," gasped Tom. "I can't bear it much longer." Huckleberry's heavy breathing was his only reply. At last they burst through the open door of the old mill and felt grateful and exultant in the sheltering shadows. After a time their breathing became regular, and Tom said, "Huck, what do you think will happen? If Dr. Robinson dies, Redskins Joe will be hanged." Tom thought for a moment and then said, "Who'll tell? We? What are you talking about? If we do, and Redskins Joe isn't hanged, why, he'll kill us sometime or other, as sure as we're lying here. If anybody tells, let Porter do it, if he's foolish enough. He's generally drunk enough." Tom went on talking and then said, "Huck, how can Porter tell? He doesn't know anything about it." "Why, doesn't he know?" "Porter couldn't see anything. He'd just been stunned when Redskin Joe struck the doctor with his knife." "That's so, Tom." After another thoughtful silence, Tom asked, "Huck, are you sure that you can keep quiet about it?" "Tom, we must. You know that if he told people what he had seen, and if that devilish half-breed escaped hanging, he'd draw us just as if we were a carbon of cats. Now, Tom, we must swear to each other to keep our mouths shut." "I agree, Huck. It's the best thing. Shall we just hold hands and swear that we—" "Oh no, that wouldn't do for this. That's good enough for ordinary things. But there ought to be writing about a big thing like this, and blood." Tom highly approved of this idea. It was deep and dark and awful. The hour, the circumstances, and the surroundings showed it. He picked up a clean, flat piece of wood that lay in the moonlight, took the end of a pencil out of his pocket, got the moonlight on his work, and with his tongue between his teeth, wrote these lines: "Huck, Jane, and Tom Sawyer swear that they will keep their mouths shut about that, and they wish that they may drop dead in their tracks if they ever tell." Huckleberry was filled with admiration of the ease with which Tom wrote and of the superior style of this language. Then Tom unwound the thread from one of his needles, and each boy pricked his thumb and pressed out a drop of blood in time. By pressing over and over again, Tom managed to sign the letters T and S using the end of his little finger of a pen. Then he showed Huckleberry how to make an H and an F, and Arch was complete. They burned the piece of wood close to the wall with some mournful ceremonies and charms and the chin that bowed. Their tongues were considered to be looked, and the key thrown away. Then they separate. When Tom kept in at the bedroom window, the night was almost ended. He undressed with excessive caution and fell asleep, congratulating himself that nobody knew of his absence. He was not aware that Sid had been awake for an hour. When Tom awoke, Sid had dressed and gone. There was a light shoot in the light. He was startled. Why had he not been called? In a few minutes, he was downstairs feeling stiff and sleepy. The family were still at the table, but they had finished breakfast. His aunt did not blame him, but said with downcast eyes, Tom had his breakfast in gloomy silence. After breakfast, his aunt took him aside, wept over him and asked them how he could break her old heart so by his bad behavior. He told him that he had given up hope of making him a good boy. This was worse than 1,000 whippings, and Tom's heart was sore now than his body. He cried, begged of forgiveness, and promised over and over again not to be misbehaved. When he was finally dismissed, he felt that he had little confidence in his promise, and that he had not forgiven him entirely. He felt too miserable to take his revenge against sin, so Sid's sleepy retreat through the back gate was unnecessary at school. While he was being punished with Joe Harper was for staying away the day before. He looked as if he did not care what happened to him. He sat down, rested his elbows on his desk and his jars in his hands, and stared at the wall with the stony stare of suffering that was reached the limit and can go no farther. His elbow was pressing against some hard substance. After a long time he slowly and steadily changed his position and took up his object with a sigh. It was wrapped in a paper. He unwrapped it. A sigh from the every depths followed, and his heart broke. It was his breast door handle. This last drill broke the camel's back.